why do we actively choose to watch people just like completely destroy their lives on television? I was literally thinking about this all morning.
Oh, it is a sickness. It's an absolute sickness in our souls.
Right. Like we are drawn to the absolute wreckage of human relationships because psychologically, I think it makes our own chaotic lives feel somewhat manageable by comparison.
Yeah, it's a sociological experiment wrapped in toxic sludge, and we are just sitting here slurping it up with a giant neon straw. Like, we actively choose this chaos over our own peace.
We really do. We have actual mortgages to pay. We are grown women.
We have medical degrees on our walls. We deal with science and logic and literal human teeth all day.
I know. And yet, here we are, letting the absolute bottom of the barrel behavioral choices of reality television cast members just dictate our entire emotional state on a Monday night.
We know it's a heavily produced machine designed to just, hijack our brains, and we just gladly hand over the keys.
We do. We love the pain. But anyway, good morning, good afternoon, good night. Honestly, babes, whenever you are listening to this, we just love you, and we are so grateful you are here spiraling with us. Cheers to you, babes.
Cheers. Because, honestly, we all need a massive drink to survive the level of delusion we are about to unpack today.
Oh, 100%.
But before we even get into the utter disaster of this week's television, we really need to address a real-world psychological minefield that is currently looming over us.
Oh my God, do not even remind me. Mother's Day.
Mother's Day is coming up. It is right around the corner, and I just know you are feeling the exact same level of anxiety that I am.
The Mother's Day panic is so incredibly real right now. I am in a full-blown, paper bed hyperventilation spiral about it.
Same. It's literally paralyzing.
And let's just remind you, babes, of the sheer absurdity of this situation. We are grown adults. We are literally practicing dentists. We spend all day managing complex medical procedures.
Giving Novocaine with completely steady hands.
Exactly. We calm down terrified patients. We handle human blood and saliva. We navigate high-stakes environments with total professionalism. We have actual heavy adult responsibilities.
And yet we revert to terrified teenagers in May.
Yes. I am currently functionally paralyzed over what to buy my mother to celebrate her existence. I cannot make a decision.
Because it is not just the simple act of buying a gift.
Right.
We need to look at the actual mechanics of gifting for difficult personalities. It is an Olympic sport.
It's emotional diffusal, like a bomb squad.
It literally is. We have talked about the specific energy our moms give off before, babes. We love them, we absolutely adore them. But let's just call a spade a spade.
Total narcissist energy.
Unchecked narcissist energy. And in that dynamic, everything is a test. Every gift you hand over is not just a nice object. It is interpreted as a direct, measurable reflection of how much you supposedly love them.
Yes. And the problem is, the grading rubric for this test is completely invisible to you.
And it changes based on her mood that morning.
It changes every single year without warning. If I get the wrong thing, it's not just a polite, oh, thank you. It's an unspoken grievance that I will have to hear about passively until, Thanksgiving.
Oh, easily until Thanksgiving. Minimum.
So I need your analytical brain to help me evaluate the options here, because I am stuck. Option A is taking her out to a nice dinner.
Safe. Expected.
Right, it's safe, checks the box. But it's also incredibly boring. Is she just going to sit there across the white tablecloth and silently judge me for not being creative enough?
Probably, yes.
So then I thought, okay, option B, what about a cute paint and sip class? You know those places.
Oh, I know them.
We get little aprons, we drink some cheap Pinot Grigio out of plastic cups, we paint a terrible picture of a sunflower together. It shows effort, right? Quality time.
Absolutely not. I am shutting that down right this second. Are you completely out of your mind?
Wait, really? Is it that bad of an idea?
A paint and sip. With your mother, the way we would get roasted for 3 hours straight, babes, I cannot emotionally handle that for you.
Oh.
Let's logically play out how that goes. The instructor tells everyone to paint the petals yellow. You pick up your brush and use yellow. Your mother leans over and says, oh, is that the shade of yellow you're using?
Oh my God, I can literally hear her voice saying that.
Right. She'd be like, interesting choice. I would have gone with something a bit more vibrant, but, well, you always did like to do things the hard way. No, absolutely not.
You are so right. I just got a cold sweat just visualizing that. She would absolutely critique my perspective.
She would tell the instructor, you're holding the brush wrong.
She would. I would end up just drinking the toxic paint water just to make the psychological torture stop.
This is the exact paradox of gifting for people who lack emotional regulation. You are constantly walking a tightrope between two catastrophic outcomes.
It is a lose-lose situation.
It is. Do you go the highly thoughtful route, put your whole soul into finding something deeply personal, and then risk the absolutely devastating narcissistic injury when she opens it and goes, oh, wow, how unique?
That specific tone of voice destroys me.
Because when you put your heart into it and they reject it, it crushes you. Or do you go the low-effort route, like a nice expensive candle or a luxury lotion?
And then risk the multi-week guilt trip about how you don't really know her at all.
Exactly. The guilt trip of, oh, you just threw money at the problem.
There's no winning move. If I buy her a luxury perfume, the immediate response is, oh, are you saying I smell bad? Is this a hint?
Yep. If you buy a spa day, it's, oh, so you don't actually want to spend time with me. You just want to ship me off to strangers.
I cannot win this game. I am declaring a state of emergency right now. Babes, the wine is absolutely on deck. We need to pour right now before I spiral completely into the abyss.
Pour it heavy. We're going to need it today.
Okay, hold on. Let me just grab the bottle. I'm just moving the microphones out of the way.
Watch the laptop. The cord is wrapped around
Oh
it.
my God, I'm so sorry. I literally just splashed Merlot directly onto the keyboard.
On the Mac. Perfect. Very professional, babes.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm wiping it up with my sleeve right now. The keys are just a little sticky, but we are surviving. This is fine. This is the exact chaotic energy we are embracing today.
We are medical professionals, everyone. Please trust us with your dental health.
Barely. But seriously, as I frantically wipe up this very expensive stain, I just want to speak directly to you, babes. The DMs have been absolutely flooding in this week.
Our inboxes are breaking.
You have been sending us so many messages begging us to cover all these other messy reality shows, suggesting full breakdowns of entirely new casts. And I just want to say, we see you and we are on it.
We are mapping out the psychology of entirely new ecosystems of trash television as we speak. We are prepping some brand new series that are going to drop very soon.
We are so excited for them.
Because the reality TV universe is rapidly expanding, and we are arming ourselves to conquer it all. Because what is our motto?
Babes, you ask, we spiral, we deliver.
Exactly. And speaking of chaotic, unhinged events happening literally right now that we absolutely must dissect before we get into our normal recap.
Oh, we have to talk about the 2026 Met Gala.
The Met Gala. The ultimate sociological study of wealth, class, and the sheer desperation for relevance.
It is happening right now, and my timeline is a mess.
Let's just have the debate right now, because we both have very strong, very opposing feelings about what this event has actually become.
You really do.
We need to look at the macro picture. What is the actual functional purpose of the Met Gala anymore? Historically, sure, it was about fashion as a high art form.
It was about raising money for the Costume Institute.
Right. But from an analytical standpoint, today, it has devolved into nothing more than a pure clout Olympics. It is a desperately transparent grab for social media engagement, completely orchestrated by PR firms.
Okay, see, I am going to emotionally defend the gala here, just a little bit.
And you would.
Because I want to believe in the art. I desperately want to believe in the fantasy of it all. When it's done right, when a guest actually understands the theme and works with a visionary designer, it is magic.
Sure, when it's done right. Which is rare.
It's supposed to be the one night of the year where celebrities are actually encouraged to be avant-garde, to be weird, to push the boundaries. But, I mean, I will admit, looking at the carpet this year, it is a catastrophic mess.
Thank you. It is.
It's just an endless parade of naked dresses covered in crystals, and the men in those safe, boring, tailored tuxedos that completely ignore the theme.
It's a mess because the billionaire energy has officially completely taken over the cultural zeitgeist. The Met Gala is just the most visible symptom of that disease.
It really is giving dystopian vibes.
Look at the structure of who gets invited now. It's not artists. It's tech moguls and TikTokers. Let's look at the host. Jeff Bezos hosting the Met Gala.
Really? I physically gagged.
We are having the orchestrator of Amazon Prime host the most prestigious fashion event in the world. I was scrolling the FOMOI subreddit earlier, analyzing the public sentiment, and the backlash is visceral.
Oh, I bet. What are people saying?
I read one highly upvoted comment that just said, quote, "Fuck Jeff Bezos."
Yeah.
And analytically, that perfectly sums up the collective exhaustion we all feel.
It really does. It just strips all the romance out of it.
It completely strips the history and the true artistry out of the event when it just feels like a corporate tech bro flexing his infinite, unimaginable wealth on the steps of a museum. It's the commodification of art.
I physically cringed when I saw him on the carpet. It feels like we are living in the Hunger Games and he is President Snow.
That's the perfect analogy.
But despite the corporate overlords completely ruining our fun and sanitizing the art, there is always one shining beacon of hope in the darkness. There is one woman who understands the assignment and never, ever lets us down.
We absolutely have to talk about Heidi Klum.
Babes, she understood the assignment. We have to talk about her. She took the theme, she absorbed the theme, and she left absolutely no crumbs on those steps.
She served pure, unadulterated costume art. The internet is rightfully losing its collective mind over this look.
I am losing my mind over it.
I was reading through the live reaction threads, analyzing the cultural response, and people were genuinely gagging. For those who somehow missed it, she came dressed as a literal, physical marble statue.
It was so good.
It was a direct, brilliant reference to Raphael Amonti's 19th century sculpture, The Veiled Woman.
Yes. If you babes haven't seen the photos yet, you need to pull over your car right now and look at your phone.
Safely pull over, please.
She was completely covered from head to toe in this optical illusion fabric that made her look like she was literally carved out of solid, heavy marble, but with the sheer, delicate stone veil draped perfectly over her face.
The technical skill required to manipulate fabric to look like cold, hard stone, the shading.
The makeup. She painted her skin to look like polished alabaster. It was breathtaking.
The execution was objectively insane. The craftsmanship was top tier. But we also have to analyze the deeply unsettling, scary details of the look. Because Heidi Klum cannot just be conventionally pretty.
Never. That is not her brand.
She has to push it into the realm of the uncanny valley. She has to make it slightly terrifying. We need to talk about the colored lenses she chose to wear.
Oh my God, the eyes. The eyes will haunt my nightmares for weeks.
The eyes were completely unhinged. She wore these entirely opaque, milky white contact lenses to mimic the blank, carved eyes of a marble statue.
It was so creepy.
But because of how they sat on her face and how they tracked movement, it made her look completely cross-eyed or cockeyed. She looked completely undead.
She looked like a reanimated corpse carved from stone.
I saw a comment from someone saying, "This scared the hell out of me on the live stream," and another person said, "Yo, this made my cat leave my lap."
Her power.
She was radiating pure, terrifying ghost energy and unsettled people on a primal level.
But I love that about her. I really do. I love that she never, ever feels compelled to just look pretty for the male gaze.
She definitely doesn't care about the male gaze.
Yeah. She doesn't care about looking conventionally hot on a red carpet. She is a gorgeous, legendary supermodel. She knows she's hot. She doesn't need to prove it in a boring, sheer, sequined down like everybody else just to get validation.
She commits to the bit with her entire soul.
She goes full theater. She embraces the grotesque and the strange, and I live for it.
I completely respect the massive, monumental effort, especially when you contrast her against the background of her photos. You see Heidi as this magnificent, terrifying marble statue, and right behind her are 6 men showing up in basic black suits.
Looking completely underdressed and utterly bored.
It highlights the gender disparity and red carpet expectations perfectly. Like, go home, Brad, you're ruining the aesthetic of the museum steps.
Exactly. Try harder, Brad.
But there was also a lot of pushback to her look. One Reddit user literally just commented, "Girl, it is not Halloween."
Oh, whatever. They don't get it.
And from a critical perspective, I understand that critique. The theme is costume art. But Heidi always treats every major fashion event like it's an extension of her legendary annual Halloween party. She really struggles to separate the high fashion of the Met Gala from the camp of a haunted house.
I do not care. I will defend her artistic vision to the grave. In a sea of boring, safe, PR-approved outfits designed not to offend anyone, give me the terrifying, cross-eyed marble ghost woman any day of the week. She made us feel something.
Fair enough. She certainly provoked a reaction, which I guess is the definition of art.
It is.
All right, let's pour a little more wine because we need to transition our focus. We are moving from the high art glamour of the Met Gala to the absolute unmitigated gutter of reality television.
Yes, my favorite place to be.
We are avid, dedicated viewers of the 90-Day Universe. We have been studying these people since day one, and this week's episode of The Single Life Season 5, Episode 13, titled The Act of Orbiting, it almost broke my analytical brain.
Babes, it completely shattered my reality. I literally had to pause the TV and just walk around my kitchen island in circles for 10 minutes to process what I was witnessing.
The psychological damage in this cast is staggering.
We have so much to unpack here, so let's just dive right into the deep end of the mess. I want to start with the absolute staggering audacity of men, specifically Pedro.
Let's dissect the Pedro situation,
Yeah.
because it is a master class in coercive control and fragile masculinity.
Oh, do not even get me started on Pedro. I am already feeling my blood pressure spike just hearing his name.
Breathe. Let's logically recap this timeline so everyone understands the sheer magnitude of the delusion here.
Okay, yes. So we have Pedro and Sophie. They met online right within the incestuous 90-day community ecosystem.
Pedro literally slid into her DMs after she followed him on Instagram.
Exactly. He saw a beautiful, vulnerable 20-something girl who was fresh off a traumatic relationship. He shot his shot, and they ended up going on that trip to the Dominican Republic together.
Right. And we have to establish the foundational context here, which Sophie has stated explicitly over and over again to Pedro and to the cameras. They are not exclusive.
They're not boyfriend and girlfriend.
They have no binding commitment. She clearly communicated to him, before they even boarded the flight, that she was not ready for a serious relationship. She is trying to heal from a horrific, emotionally abusive marriage with Rob.
She is just trying to find her footing as an independent adult. She was looking for a fun distraction. She set a clear, healthy boundary.
And she communicated her boundaries perfectly. She did exactly what therapists tell you to do.
So what happens in this episode? Sophie goes on one date, one single casual date with a guy named Brian, and she kisses him. Just a kiss. And what is Pedro's reaction?
He completely blows up. He throws a full-on toxic masculinity tantrum.
He loses his mind. He looks dead into the producer's cameras and says, I invite her to my country, to share my country, and she looking at another guy from my country. What the hell?
The sense of ownership in that statement is breathtaking.
It's disgusting.
Let's analyze the phrasing. I invite her to my country. He is operating under this archaic, patriarchal assumption that because he facilitated her travel, because he acted as the host, he effectively purchased her loyalty and her bodily autonomy.
He views her as a possession that he imported. I was literally screaming at my television screen.
The territorial nature of it is wild.
The gaslighting is completely out of control. You see Sophie sitting there sobbing, tears streaming down her face, saying, I told him the truth. I didn't lie to him.
She was completely honest and transparent.
She didn't try to hide it or sneak around. And he is treating her like she committed an act of treason against his bloodline.
Right.
He actively made her feel like the worst, most deceitful person in the entire world for going on one casual date.
When they aren't even exclusive.
Exactly.
We need to break down the logic of Pedro's reaction here, because Pedro is operating on a severe deficit of emotional intelligence. Look at his historical data.
His track record is garbage.
This man has failed to build a functional, healthy relationship 4 separate times on national television. His marriage to Chantel imploded in the most spectacular, vitriolic way possible. He has alienated his own family members.
He brings absolutely nothing to the table in a partnership except a bad attitude, deep-seated resentment, and a gaming chair.
Literally just a gaming chair. And now he is experiencing what psychologists call a narcissistic injury. He is throwing a tantrum because a beautiful young woman will not immediately submit to his authority.
His ego cannot process the rejection.
Right, so he turns it into an attack on her character.
It is so incredibly gross. It is possessive, it is deeply manipulative, and it is a massive flashing red flag. When he just coldly stormed off and left her there crying on the beach, my heart physically hurt for her.
She's too young to be dealing with this.
She is way too young and has already been through way too much to be dealing with this level of emotional manipulation from an older man.
Well, the silver lining here is that I think this might be the definitive end of the road for their storyline. Because if you analyze their social media footprints right now, there has been a mutual unfollow on Instagram.
Oh, the mutual unfollow, the ultimate modern-day reality TV death knell.
It is officially over when the grid is scrubbed.
You know the bridge is burned when they hit that unfollow button, and the audience is completely seeing through his facade.
I was reading the episode discussion thread on Reddit, analyzing the viewer consensus, and everyone agrees that Pedro is acting incredibly childish and desperate.
He is so desperate.
One user pointed out his exact bizarre quote, where he's fuming and says, "Now I feel how luck fell every time I run away." What does that even logically mean, Pedro?
It means nothing.
You aren't running away from anything. You are actively driving women away with your suffocating, toxic behavior. You are the common denominator in all of your failed relationships.
He is just desperate for a storyline. He thought he could just swoop in, play the protective knight in shining armor to this vulnerable, heartbroken girl, and easily secure his spot on another 3 seasons of the payroll.
And the exact second she showed a tiny fraction of independence, his fragile ego couldn't handle the loss of control.
It's textbook behavior. He doesn't want a dynamic partner. He wants a subservient fan to boost his ego.
But we need to move from one toxic man-child to another, because we have to analyze what might be the messiest, most psychologically confusing throuple in reality television history.
Oh my God, please. You have to lead the way on this one because my brain short circuits every time I try to understand the logistics of what is happening here.
Okay, let me logically set this utterly cursed, bizarre scene for you. We are talking about Colt, the man, the myth, the absolute menace of the franchise.
I am physically gagging.
He is recovering from a surgery. He requires mobility assistance. He needs a place to heal. But where is he recovering? Is he at his own leased apartment? No.
No, of course not.
Is he with his mother, Debbie, who has famously coddled him and enabled his behavior his entire adult life? No. He is recovering with his leg elevated in the spare bedroom of Cortney's brand new 66-year-old boyfriend, Philip.
Just hearing the words out loud makes me nauseous. I am going to need to drink a massive sip of wine right now just to process the visual of Colt lurking in that house.
Please do.
Yeah.
Because the psychology of this situation gets so much worse. Let's look at the timeline. Cortney and this man, Philip, met at a bar approximately 2 months ago.
2 months. It is a brand new relationship.
It is a fragile relationship. She moves into his house almost immediately, which is a red flag in itself. And then she decides to just bring Colt with her, like he's a stray wounded cat she found in an alley that needs his leg splinted.
I cannot handle Cortney. The sheer volume of inappropriate oversharing in this episode was criminal. I genuinely want to sue the production company for emotional distress.
He has a lot of information.
She is sitting there in her confessional, completely unprovoked, talking to millions of viewers about her 66-year-old boyfriend's sexual stamina.
Oh God, the stamina quote.
Quote, sex is great with Philip. He doesn't need any medication. If I'm like, hey, do you want to do it? He's like, yep, I'm ready.
Why do we, as a society, need to know the intimate details of Philip's vascular health?
We don't.
Why is she volunteering that deeply private information to the entire world? What is the psychological need to broadcast that?
I do not know. It is sick. But then, the absolute whiplash. Right after boasting about her geriatric sex life, she immediately pivots to acting like Florence Nightingale for Colt.
Who, by the way, is just lurking in the spare bedroom.
Right off the main living room, within earshot, listening to everything.
We have to analytically dissect Colt's dark magic here, because it truly is a psychological superpower. We need to study how this grown, bearded, fully adult man constantly manipulates women into letting him infiltrate their lives and live in their houses for free.
He is a menace.
If you look at it through the lens of biology, he operates like a parasite. He finds a host, he attaches himself, and he drains their resources until they collapse.
That is exactly what he is.
He is a professional couch surfer disguised as a tragic romantic interest. He utilizes weaponized incompetence. He did it with Larissa, he did it with Jess, he did it with Vanessa, and now he is doing it with Cortney.
And she isn't even romantically involved with him.
Exactly.
I saw a Reddit comment that perfectly encapsulated the collective rage of the audience. The user said, he has a mother. He is a big, grown person who can take care of himself.
Thank you, Reddit.
Why is Cortney acting like his full-time caregiver? Why is she wiping his tears, fluffing his pillows, and fetching him fresh ice packs every 2 hours? What is she getting out of this?
What she is getting out of it is a massive dopamine hit to her ego. Because Cortney has a savior complex the size of Texas.
She really does.
She has a deep-seated psychological need to feel indispensable. She wants to be the one who fixes the broken bird. And Colt has a radar for women with savior complexes. He plays the victim perfectly.
But the core conflict in this episode is that Philip, the 66-year-old man who actually holds the deed to this house and pays the mortgage, is finally getting tired of having zero privacy in his own home.
As he should be.
He literally stated on camera, we don't sit in our own living room because it's right outside his bedroom door. Colt has effectively held their living space hostage.
I passionately agree with the Reddit user who said Cortney owes Colt zero, zilch, except for maybe a swift kick in the nuts.
Yes, why is she actively jeopardizing her brand new, supposedly great relationship with Philip to nurse a man who has historically treated every single woman in his life like absolute garbage?
It trods logic.
But honestly, let's take a step back and look at the production side. Do we think this living arrangement is even functionally real?
You think it's staged?
I am really questioning if this whole storyline is just completely staged and fabricated. Like, there is no logical way this arrangement naturally happened in the real world.
See, I hear your skepticism, but I'm going to push back on that and explain how reality TV logistics actually work. Is it heavily produced?
Absolutely.
Okay, so they paid them.
Did the location scouts and producers probably offer to pay Philip a substantial location fee or cover his mortgage for the month if he signed a release form to let them film Colt in the spare room? Almost certainly. They needed a set.
Right.
But you cannot script Colt's specific brand of pathetic energy. You can put the pieces on the board, but the cast has to play the game. That cheese dick energy, as one brilliant Reddit commenter so accurately called it, is too authentically gross to be fully written by a room of Hollywood screenwriters.
The phrase cheese dick energy is going to haunt my nightmares forever.
Even if the producers poke the bear, set up the logistics, and incentivize the housing situation, Colt naturally leaning into the helpless victim role, and Cortney naturally eating it up to feed her savior complex. That is just their genuine, messed up psychology functioning exactly as it always does.
Okay, you're completely right.
Yeah.
You cannot fake that specific level of cringe. It is innate. It's in his DNA.
Speaking of innate cringe, babes, can we please pivot and talk about Vanja and Tony? Because the whiplash from their storyline is causing me physical pain.
The whiplash is severe. Let's logically introduce this absolute clown car of a relationship dynamic.
Please do.
So Vanja and Tony had a massive relationship-ending blow-up a few episodes ago. He was acting shady and avoidant, and she was setting wild, aggressive ultimatums to try and force a commitment.
Which never works, by the way.
Never. But in this episode, Tony reaches out, offers a half-hearted apology,
Right.
and suddenly, magically, all is forgiven. And not just forgiven, but Vanja decides this is the exact perfect moment to completely abandon her boundaries and break her celibacy.
The way she described their intimacy, I literally wanted to crawl out of my own skin and hide. Please, read her exact quote from the transcript. Read it so everyone can share my suffering.
I will read it with maximum snark because it deserves nothing less. Quote, "It was very sensual and passionate, and it was not boom, boom, done." Okay, let me just put it to you that way.
Boom, boom, done. Who uses that phrase?
A toddler.
She is a fully grown adult woman. The severe infantilization of her own sexual experiences is so deeply bizarre and unsettling to me. Why is she speaking like a toddler when describing intimacy?
Well, the psychological infantilization doesn't stop with her vocabulary. We have to bring up the Reddit commentary on her overall aesthetic and physical presentation, because the internet was clinically dissecting her vibe.
They really were.
First of all, the physical chemistry. Someone astutely pointed out that they kiss like they are on a stadium kiss cam.
Yes. It's so forced.
It's incredibly forced, highly performative, and it looks like they are actively trying to prove to the camera operators that they have genuine passion and her aesthetic choices. The neon bright colors, the heavy glitter, the massive bows.
Reddit is universally calling her makeup toddler in a tiara.
It is a visual manifestation of regression.
Okay, I am going to defend her just a tiny bit here because I try to find the empathy. I saw a comment from someone saying that her style is actually kind of inspiring because it's joyful to wear bright colors and sparkly things. And we shouldn't let rigid societal norms steal our joy just because we hit a certain chronological age. And honestly, I kind of agree with that specific sentiment. If she wants to wear neon pink eyeshadow and a sequin jacket to the grocery store, let her live her truth.
It is not just about the eyeshadow, babes. We need to look at the holistic picture. The aggressive, bright makeup is just the external visual representation of her internal psychological delusion.
You think it's a defense mechanism?
It is a defense mechanism. She lives in an elaborate, aggressively colorful fantasy world where she genuinely believes she is the quirky main character of a 2000s romantic comedy. Look at her behavioral patterns.
She is very erratic.
She sets these completely unhinged, high-stakes ultimatums to manufacture drama, throws a massive fit when the guy understandably doesn't comply, and then the very second he gives her a tiny breadcrumb of basic attention, she completely folds.
She abandons all her boundaries immediately.
And acts like they are destined soulmates. It is emotionally volatile behavior disguised as quirky, colorful romance.
Okay, when you lay out the pattern like that, yeah, it is really, really bad. It's a cycle of manufactured highs and lows, and the delusion completely peaked in this specific episode when they went to meet Tony's parents.
Oh, the meet the parents scene.
Yeah.
It was a masterclass in cultural friction and absolute awkwardness.
So painful to watch.
We meet Tony's mom, Anna, who looks like a woman who absolutely does not suffer fools gladly. She sits Vanja down at the table, locks eyes with her, and straight up asks her if she goes to church.
And Vanja doesn't even try to soften the blow. She doesn't employ any social grace or tact.
Right.
She just bluntly, aggressively says, no, I was not raised in a religious household, and my response is always going to be no, it's never going to change. She drew a massive line in the sand in the first 5 minutes of meeting the woman.
And then, cut to her confessional, she's like, I'm scared to death this is going to be a huge problem.
Like, you caused the problem.
Yeah. Well, let's analyze this from a sociological perspective. Tony is from a Balkan family. I was reading a really in-depth, insightful comment on Reddit from a user who actually lives in the ex-Yugoslavia region, and they were explaining the specific family dynamics at play here.
Oh, I love the cultural context. What do they say?
In those cultures, the mother's approval is not just a nice bonus. It is everything. It is the absolute foundation of the family structure. The matriarch holds immense structural power. You do not disrespect the matriarch.
Which makes sense.
And you certainly do not openly, aggressively reject the family's core religious traditions on day one of meeting them. Vanja is terrified it will be a problem, and mathematically, structurally, it will be.
It's already over.
Tony's mom is going to find a fatal flaw in everything Vanja does from this point forward. And Tony clearly does not possess the spine required to stand up to his mother and defend a partner. The relationship is fundamentally incompatible.
It is completely doomed. The writing is on the wall in permanent marker. Just like our final couple in this recap, Kim, Jamal, and the British man she met 5 seconds ago, Wayne.
I am so fundamentally exhausted by Kim.
Every single episode, we are subjected to the exact same circular storyline on an endless loop. There is no narrative progression.
It is a broken record of misery.
She spends the entire runtime of the episode complaining, crying, and hyperventilating about how she is keeping this massive 35-year secret about her kids and her adoption from Wayne.
And Jamal, her adult son, is finally, rightfully sick of it.
They got into this huge emotionally charged fight on a video call. Jamal is basically telling her, Mom, you just need to tell everyone the truth, rip the Band-Aid off, and stop being a dick about it when I get upset that you've lied to me my entire life.
We need to break down the sheer psychological absurdity of Kim's priority matrix here. She has successfully kept this foundational secret from her own flesh and blood, her own children, for 35 years.
3.5 decades of sustained daily deception.
But suddenly, out of nowhere, the single most important, urgent thing in her life is confessing this deep, dark truth to Wayne. Who is Wayne? He is a man she has been talking to through a screen on an iPad who she just physically met in person yesterday.
It's insane.
Why does this virtual stranger suddenly hold more emotional weight than her own son?
A stranger who, by the way, apparently doesn't even like to be touched.
Exactly. We find out in this episode that Wayne has these weird tactile issues. He's not touchy-feely. He cringes at physical affection.
Make it make sense.
The Reddit thread was absolutely roasting him, logically pointing out that if he has such a severe aversion to physical touch and intimacy, why in the world is he going on an international dating show looking for a romantic partner? What is the goal here?
Literally none of this tracks.
But Kim is ignoring all of that. She is projecting this fantasy onto him, acting like Wayne is her ultimate soulmate, and she owes him this profound honesty while simultaneously completely dismissing and invalidating how much her lifelong lies have traumatized Jamal.
It is so messed up.
It is a classic case of prioritizing a new attachment over an existing secure one, because the new one is fragile and requires constant validation.
It is so incredibly backwards. She is prioritizing the hypothetical feelings of a literal stranger over the son who has supported her, loved her, and been there for her through everything. I am entirely over it.
Both of us agree this storyline is dragging so hard it's leaving marks on the floor.
It is a slow, agonizing fade into absolute boredom.
I am officially authorizing myself to fast forward through their scenes next week. We are done analyzing them.
Same. Okay, babes, I am officially pouring the last drop of this current bottle of wine into my glass. We need a psychological palate cleanser. It is time for our first segment. Let's play. Red flag or just reality TV?
I love this segment. The rules are analytical and simple. I'm going to present 3 specific moments from the episode we just watched.
Yeah.
We'll debate. Is this a genuine run-for-the-hills, call-your-therapist red flag indicative of real-world abuse, or is it just the producers pulling the strings to manufacture conflict for the algorithmic machine?
I am ready. Hit me with the first one.
Moment number 1. Pedro's complete thermonuclear beachside tantrum over Sophie going on a single date and getting a kiss,
Yeah.
despite the established fact that they are not exclusive.
Huge red flag, like a red flag the size of a highway billboard. I do not care if there are cameras in his face or producers whispering in his ear. That reaction was visceral and terrifying.
You don't think it was exaggerated?
That is deep-seated toxic masculinity, obsession with possession, and an attempt at coercive control. If a man ever spoke to me like that, acting like he owned my body and my choices simply because he bought me a margarita on a beach and paid for a plane ticket, I would block his number, change the locks on my doors, and seriously consider moving to another state. It is legitimately terrifying, abusive behavior, and we shouldn't excuse it as entertainment.
See, I look at it analytically through the lens of the reality TV ecosystem, and I say, reality TV. Listen, Pedro is a professional reality star at this point.
Right.
That is his career. He has no other marketable skills in the real world.
That's sad but true.
He knows exactly how this machine works. He knows that if he acts rational, if he just shrugs, says, okay, cool, you went on a date, we aren't exclusive, whatever, the producers have zero conflict. They have no storyline.
But his anger was so real.
His screen time gets cut, and his contract doesn't get renewed. He needs high-stakes drama to stay on the payroll. Is the behavior gross? Yes, absolutely. But I think 80% of that explosive anger is him deliberately acting wounded specifically for the camera so he can secure his bag for the end-of-season tell-all. He is playing a character.
I fundamentally disagree. I think the mask slipped. That anger was incredibly real. You could see the veins popping in his neck. He looked like he wanted to punch a hole through a wall. You can't act that level of pure rage.
We will have to agree to disagree on his acting abilities. All right, moment number 2. Cortney physically moving Colt into her new, older boyfriend's house after only dating the guy for 2 months. Red flag or reality TV?
Okay, this is a massive, glaring red flag on Cortney. She is a walking, talking red flag. She has a pathological, deeply ingrained savior complex that is actively ruining her own life and the lives of those around her.
She definitely has a complex.
Who in their right mind brings their weird, bearded, manipulative ex-fling to live in their new sugar daddy's house? She is completely incapable of setting or enforcing boundaries, and it shows that she has absolutely zero respect for Philip, his home, or his personal space. Red flag, red flag, red flag.
Wrong again. This is pure, unadulterated reality TV gold, engineered in a boardroom. You really think Cortney, who can barely manage her own life, orchestrated this complex real estate transaction?
Why not? She's impulsive.
Think about the logistics. The story producers looked at the board. They saw Colt sitting in a boring, visually uninteresting apartment. They saw Cortney dating a 66-year-old man in a nice house, and they said, how do we smash these two train wrecks together for maximum awkwardness?
They manufactured the throuple.
They absolutely paid Philip's rent for the month. They handed him a substantial check and said, let the bearded man sleep in the spare room for 3 weeks of filming, and we'll put you on national television. Philip doesn't care about Colt being there. He's getting a paycheck and his 15 minutes of fame. It is a completely fabricated, financially incentivized situation.
You are so deeply cynical. You don't think Colt's uniquely pathetic aura naturally drew Cortney's savior complex in?
I think the network's money drew Philip in, and the producers did the rest of the heavy lifting. Hey, final moment. Moment number 3. Vanja's instant whiplash escalation. Going from screaming at Tony and officially breaking up to breaking her celibacy, and then aggressively demanding to meet his parents, all within a compressed 48-hour window.
Absolute red flag. The psychological whiplash is giving me secondary anxiety just watching it. It shows a complete and total lack of emotional stability.
The pacing is aggressive.
You cannot build a foundation for a healthy marriage when your conflict resolution strategy is to break up, have sensual makeup sex to avoid dealing with the actual issues, and then immediately demand to meet his mother to assert dominance over his life. It is unhinged, manipulative behavior.
Honestly, this one is just the reality of reality TV pacing. We have to look at the structural constraints of the show. You have an extremely short, concentrated filming schedule. You do not have the luxury of time for a normal, healthy 6-month courtship.
So they just speed run the relationship.
You can't just casually date and slowly get to know someone off camera. You have to condense 3 years of normal relationship milestones into 3 weeks to make a compelling narrative arc for the editors.
That sounds exhausting.
The producers are literally standing behind the cameras telling them, you need to have the meet the parents scene filmed by Tuesday, or we don't have a finale for your storyline. She's just playing the game on fast forward because the format demands it.
I don't know. I think she is actually that emotionally erratic in real life. The makeup sex to meet the parents pipeline is too specific to be entirely producer-driven.
It can definitely be a combination of both her natural erraticism and the filming schedule. All right, moving on to our next segment. I am forcing you to play a game of hypothetical horror. We call this, If This Was Us.
Oh, God. I am genuinely scared of what you're going to ask me.
You should be. Here is the scenario. I need you to use your empathy and put yourself directly into Philip's shoes.
Okay, I am Philip.
You are a 66-year-old man. You own a home. You just started dating Cortney 2 months ago. The new relationship is fun. The sex is great. No pharmaceutical assistance required, as we unfortunately all know now.
Please don't remind me.
But there is a large, bearded, recovering Colt actively living in the spare bedroom right next to your primary living space. He is eating your groceries, using your ice packs, monopolizing the bathroom, and Cortney is doting on him instead of you. What do you actually logically do in that situation?
Oh my God. I would spiral into absolute villainous delusion. I would become a psychological nightmare.
I believe that.
If I am Philip and my name is on the deed and I am paying the utility bills in that house, I am launching a full-scale psychological warfare campaign against Colt.
What is step 1 of the campaign?
I would start playing heavy, aggressive death metal music at 3 a.m. right outside his bedroom door. I would leave aggressive, highly specific, passive-aggressive sticky notes on every single item in the refrigerator.
Colt, this is Philip's expensive oat milk. Do not touch.
Exactly. Buy your own. I would constantly walk around the house in just a tiny towel to make him as visually uncomfortable as humanly possible. I would freeze him out of the environment until he broke.
See, you are playing the emotional long game, and that's a massive waste of energy and resources. If I am Philip, I am relying on pure logic and swift, decisive execution.
What would you do?
I am not leaving sticky notes. The absolute second Cortney leaves the house to go to her fake influencer job, I am calling a professional moving truck. I am hiring a crew of strong men to pack up Colt's comic books, his video games, and his ridiculous outfits, and I am putting all of his belongings on the front lawn.
Just right on the line.
Then I am going directly to the router, and I am changing the Wi-Fi password. You cut off a man like Colt's Wi-Fi. You cut off his life support. He will leave the premises on his own within an hour to find a signal.
Oh my God, that is brilliant.
The fact that Philip is just sitting there on the couch, politely sighing and saying, oh, it puts a strain on the relationship, is wild to me. I would be on the local 6 o'clock news for the scene I would cause.
But if you do that, Cortney is going to dump you. Her savior complex will kick in, and she will defend Colt against the big, mean homeowner.
Good. Let her leave. They are both crazy.
Yeah.
If she wants to date an established 66-year-old man, she needs to act like an adult partner, not a den mother for a reality TV reject who refuses to grow up. I would kick them both out, change the locks, and enjoy my peaceful, Colt-free living room with a glass of scotch.
You are absolutely ruthless.
I am a homeowner who protects my peace at all costs. All right, let's keep this aggressive, unfiltered energy flowing into our next segment. It is time for Say It to My Face.
Yes. Okay, the rules for this one, babes. We pretend the cast members are sitting right across from us in the recording studio right now. No PR filters. Messy. Honest. We say exactly what we have been screaming at our televisions all season. I am going first, and I am picking Pedro.
The floor is yours. Use your psychology degree. Ruin him.
Pedro, look at me. Look directly into my eyes and stop deflecting. You are not God's gift to women. You are a walking, talking inferiority complex wrapped in a cheap LED gaming headset. You completely ruined a marriage with Chantel because your fragile ego couldn't handle a partnership of equals. You alienated your own blood family because you fundamentally refused to set healthy boundaries. And now you are sitting here actively gaslighting a 20-something girl who was 100% honest and transparent with you from day one.
Damn.
You threw a massive abusive tantrum over a single kiss because you are deeply, fundamentally insecure about your own worth. Pack it up, log off of Instagram, stop trying to use women as props to bolster your masculinity, and go to intensive therapy. Figure out why you have a pathological need to control the women around you before you ruin another life.
Yes, read him to absolute filth.
Well,
He desperately needs to hear that breakdown of his character.
thank you. I felt that rant deep in my soul.
All right, it is your turn. Who is sitting in the interrogation chair across from you?
I am picking Colt, and I'm going to deliver a snarky, surgical, sociological breakdown of his entire pathetic existence.
Do not hold back. Colt, push your glasses up your nose and listen to me very carefully. You are a professional parasitic couch surfer disguised as romantic interest. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are a highly skilled emotional manipulator.
Highly skilled.
How are you constantly making intelligent, capable women feel sorry for you? What is the dark psychological magic you possess that makes them abandon their logic and turn into your personal unpaid caregivers? You are a grown man.
Say it again for the people in the back.
Go home to your mother, pay your own rent, get your own health insurance plan, and let these people sit in their own living rooms in peace. You are a parasite feeding off the savior complexes of reality TV women who don't know any better. Get a real job and enter society.
Oh my God, a parasite. The accuracy is chilling. He really is. He just attaches himself to a host organism and slowly drains their financial and emotional resources until they finally snap and kick him out.
It is the biological truth of his existence. And it leads us perfectly into our final diagnostic segment of our chat today. We need to figure out what is actually driving these people on a macro level. It's time for clout, love, or delusion.
The ultimate defining question for every single person who signs a contract with this network. What are their true underlying motivations? Let's start with Sophie. Is she genuinely looking for a lifelong love? Is she here strictly for the fame and the clout, or is she just completely delusional?
You go first. Empathy first.
Okay, I genuinely, empathetically think Sophie wants love. I think she has a good heart and good intentions. But I think she's just way too young, and she carries way too much unprocessed trauma from her abusive relationship with Rob to even know what healthy, stable love looks like.
She thinks emotional chaos is normal.
Exactly. She's desperately looking for a life raft in the ocean, and she keeps accidentally grabbing onto heavy anchors that drag her down.
I hear your empathy and I validate it, but I'm going straight analytical on this one. It is 100% clout. We need to look at the economics of modern reality TV. Sophie is a beautiful, young, savvy influencer. She got on a reality show, quickly realized she was the breakout sympathetic star of her season because Rob was such a cartoonish villain, and now she's aggressively capitalizing on that momentum.
You think it's just business?
Why else would she immediately start dating other established guys within the reality TV universe? She went directly from Rob to Pedro. She is strategically keeping her name in the blogs, she is cross-pollinating audiences, and she is building her follower count. It's a calculated business strategy to secure brand deals.
You really think she was faking those tears on the beach? That was business.
I think the tears about Pedro aggressively yelling at her were a real human reaction to being startled, but I think entering into the relationship itself was just a convenient, mutually beneficial storyline for a paycheck.
Okay, what about Vanja? Clout, love, or delusion? Oh, this one is easy. Delusion. Pure, unfiltered, top-shelf delusion. She is living entirely in a constructed fantasy world. The bright, childlike makeup, the dramatic ultimatums she issues, the sensual descriptions of her sex life. She genuinely thinks her life is a movie script, and she is the star.
She definitely has main character syndrome.
She is so deeply desperate to be chosen by a man that she is willfully ignoring every single cultural, logistical, and emotional red flag waving directly in her face.
I completely agree. It is textbook clinical delusion. She doesn't even see Tony as a real, complex human being with flaws and a difficult family.
Yeah.
She sees him merely as a prop to fulfill her fairy tale narrative. But while we are on the topic of clout and cast members strategically dating other cast members to stay on television, I have to bring up this Reddit shower thought I saw earlier today.
Ooh, what is it? I love a good, well-researched Reddit conspiracy theory.
It completely blew my mind and explains the entire ecosystem of this network. It's an analysis of the dating patterns of Tim and Rob.
Ugh. The two most exhausting performative men on the entire network.
Exactly. Yeah. But look at the sociological pattern here. Tim dated Jennifer back in his original season. Then a few years later, Rob hooks up with Jennifer and tries to date her on a spinoff.
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
Then Rob is currently on the single life, and he shows interest in Elise. What happens next? Tim immediately tries to shoot his shot with Elise. Then in another episode, Tim says he is super interested in Emma. Cut to the recent tell-all, and Emma reveals on stage that she is currently hooking up with Rob.
Ew, ew, ew. I'm literally shuddering. They are passing these poor girls around like a used baseball glove. It is so degrading.
The Reddit comment literally used that exact phrase. They pass them around like a used baseball glove. It is so vile and disrespectful. But analytically, it concludes everything we need to know about the actual motivations of the so-called bad boys of this television universe. This proves, without a shadow of a doubt, that they are operating in a closed-loop economy of pure clout.
100%. It has nothing to do with romance.
They do not want love. They do not care about building a sustainable, quiet life with a partner off camera. They literally just look at a roster of available women, check social media analytics to see who has the most Instagram followers in the casting pool, and try to date them to artificially boost their own engagement metrics.
It is an incestuous, clout-chasing echo chamber.
Tim and Rob probably don't even like each other personally,
Yeah.
but they are sharing the exact same dating pool just to ensure they stay relevant in the algorithm.
Oh.
Followers have replaced actual emotional connection as the currency of their dating market.
It is so incredibly bleak, it makes me want to take a long, hot shower to wash the sleaze off. The level of transparent desperation from these grown men is just staggering. They are completely detached from how relationships function in reality.
Well, on that incredibly depressing, sociologically bleak note, I am looking at the wine bottle, and it is completely empty. The chaos is finally settling in my brain. The caffeine from this morning has entirely worn off. The wine has fully taken over my central nervous system, and I think we have successfully diagnosed every single psychological disease present in this episode.
We really did. We did the Lord's work today, breaking down the pathology of trash television. And honestly, I want to step out of the snark for just one quick second and get sincere.
Yeah.
I really just want to say thank you to you, babes, our favorite listener, for being part of the Snark Squad.
We really appreciate you guys.
Thank you so much for choosing to spend an hour listening to us spiral today. We know we are a mess. We know our analytical takes are slightly unhinged, but having the space to just vent, dissect human behavior, and drink wine with you, it truly makes navigating the Monday grind so much better.
It really, truly does. You are the absolute best part of this. And if you enjoyed listening to two exhausted medical professionals yell about the psychology of reality television, please remember to rate, comment, subscribe, and share this conversation with a messy friend who loves analyzing trash TV just as much as we do.
The algorithm feeds on engagement, just like Pedro, and it helps us out so much.
Yes. Share the mess, bring more people into the chaos, and you do not want to miss next week's breakdown.
Oh my God, next week. Next week is episode 14. It is ominously titled The Act of Making It Official. And we already know, based on the previews and the psychological profiles we've built today, that it is going to be an absolute, unmitigated disaster.
A catastrophic failure on all emotional and logistical fronts. We are also going to be dropping those breakdowns into the new shows and spin-offs that you've been begging for in the DMs, so keep your eyes on the feed.
Yep.
I want to leave you with one final provocative thought to mull over before we go. The next time you watch these couples scream at each other on screen, ask yourself, are we simply watching flawed people fail at love? Or are we watching highly skilled producers succeed at breaking them for our entertainment? Think about that power dynamic.
Oh, that is chilling. I love it. I cannot wait to unpack that more next week. All right, time to go wash this makeup off, drink some water, and prepare to act like functional adults in the real world tomorrow. Say it with me, babes. Stay messy, stay dramatic.
And we will see you on the Snark side.